Like, how crazy is it to look at some of these homes? I bet somebody's in that house too. Don't you think somebody might be in that house? Camera guy. Bryce, what do you think about this neighborhood, man?
Just being here, we're taking a risk, you know, but Jeremy, this is what he does, so.
This definitely gives me the heebie-jeebies, I'm not gonna lie. Dude, nobody even touched this house. Oh, that just sounded like a door closed. I'm walking out. Yep, no, sound like a door closed. Hey man, that door closed and I was out of there. Holy smokes. No, no, no. Not today, Satan. Abandoned neighborhoods just like this from developers. Is there a bigger problem happening in the Austin area? Yeah, the neighborhood behind me is semi-abandoned at the moment. In fact, they've had to pull sales on this. We're gonna go into that. Is this gonna be a bigger problem in the Austin area? Here we go. Jeremy at the Night Group, your favorite Austin realtor. So I saw this video the other day on abandoned neighborhoods and I could not believe it. I was a little annoyed that I felt like they just didn't give enough information of what was actually happening and made it sound like this huge pandemic of a problem in the Austin area. So I actually did some digging and did what I do best as a realtor and found more information about this specific neighborhood, what was going on. I actually spoke loosely to someone affiliated with the builder and the developer here. So today I'm going to go through the reviews and some of the things that are said about this development, what some things are happening with developers. Is this a rampant problem? And just go overall what's actually happening with developers abandoning projects, because this could be something bigger in the future. As you can see right here, this neighborhood is actually kind of abandoned. If you look in this specific home right here, somebody's knocked in the door, there's spray paint all over the walls, and the house has been damaged. In fact, we could probably walk through the back and I'll show you. Look, there's glass all over the ground in this neighborhood. Watch out for the nails. This will get you real quick. That's a death trap happening. Okay. So yeah, look at this. They have slabs throughout the neighborhood. In fact, this builder had pre-sold a bunch of properties, and I'll go through the comments on some of the reviews for this builder. Now, I don't want to necessarily go give you all the information about this specific builder. This is kind of why you really need a good realtor. Is if developers are doing things like this, you need to know about it. I'm not going to give you the information about this developer in this neighborhood. I'll give you the reviews and things like that. The reason why I'm not going to do that is I don't want people to come start visiting this neighborhood and cause a bigger problem here. So understand, I'm trying to do that as a precaution for you, for the developer, and for everybody involved. I don't want people to get hurt. So look at this. So this window looks like it was completely ripped off, and you can just push the camera in and read what it says on the walls. There is no construction. Now look, I don't want to step inside this home, but look, you got to get this shot right here. I mean, isn't that crazy? So the video we referenced earlier, they really just kind of made it look like that there was a big problem happening in the Austin area. I actually reached out to some of the representatives here and got a little bit of information because I think this is something we're seeing. In fact, I spoke with my really good friend, Jeff. Jeff is loosely on my real estate team, and he handles more of our investor clients and big projects, so development deals. He works on a lot of those things. And I spoke with Jeff and I asked Jeff, hey, what's going on with some of these developers? And basically what he said is some of these smaller developers that were developing neighborhoods like this one and similar neighborhoods, when they were buying properties during the pandemic, they were valuing lands. He was giving me actually an example of this. When he did a report on what some of these properties should run, he was looking at the land values about $400,000 on some of these properties. So developers were buying up lots and land at this price. Now, back in 2022, we saw the market drop drastically. In fact, it's down 21% from the peak. So a lot of these properties that were $400,000 for the lot are now $275,000 for the lot. So developers like this are having to reorganize. Now, I spoke with one of the representatives on this neighborhood. I don't want to say their name. I don't want them to get in trouble. But what they were saying is that they actually had to give back 31 deposits. In fact, I'll read some reviews about that in a second. If you look on the MLS right now, it actually shows some of these homes are still pending. So they still have them actively pending. Now, when I called the sales rep that was for those specific homes, there was no answer. I actually had to do some more digging. What this gentleman told me is that They're having to restructure some of this. They've sold off some of these lots. They will come back and start building these homes in this neighborhood in the future. In fact, they were supposed to start in the last month and they've still pushed that off. But what you're seeing with some of these developers is they're having to reorganize and come up with new strategy. The strategies that were happening when they purchased these developments, the final result's not the same. And so, look, a lot of developers really got into buying a lot of developments and they got into trying to take advantage of how hot the market was. Well, it's not as hot as it once was. In fact, the real estate market's turned. If you look at my last video, the one I posted last Tuesday, that's a really good indication of what's happening in the market. Yes, prices are up, but some of the homes in the higher price point are now sitting. Homes under 450 are moving faster. In fact, this development was supposed to be one of those under 450, 500 neighborhoods. In fact, I remember when this neighborhood was out. In fact, I know for a fact I talked about this neighborhood. In fact, I actually asked them if they were open when they were promoting this neighborhood. I actually asked them if they were open to investors buying because I thought this would be a good neighborhood to invest in. Well, they weren't open to investors. I didn't buy in here, and you're seeing the result. Let's change spots. As you can tell, they've actually had started the pool, the community center, and all of that. So this whole neighborhood really was going to be a large neighborhood. If you look in this area, there's even a bridge. So the section we were just showing you was just the front part of this. If we follow the road, you can see there was going to be other sections of this development here in the back. As you can see, the roads are completely in. The cutouts for all the different sections were already in. The plumbing for most of these homes was already in. This is gonna be a large neighborhood and it is stalled. Look, this house probably had foundation issues. If it's crazy, this should not be like this at all. And if you look, it looks like there was a patch put in here. So they probably had issues with the pipe that's right there. Look how close that pipe is to the wall. So they probably had to cut in here. Typically what happens is they put a skim coat over the top of this. So that technically would just be skim coated over. That could be a bigger problem right there. That's something that if they come back on this neighborhood, they'll have to fix. Oh, and there's, can't tell whose poop that is, but there's real poop on the ground right there. The upstairs of this house looks fine. The backsplash looks good, look. Like this house still looks like it's in decent shape. So what's wild about this specific neighborhood, they were supposed to actually have a pool, amenities, and the neighborhood was supposed to be built even further back. If you look through all the weeds right here, you can actually see where the water pipes and the water mains. So this is still spec'd out. A developer, if they wanted to come in and buy this up, they could come back in and buy this up. They have a lot of the stuff here. It's just, is there gonna be the right money in this? And so you may see developers also sit on projects longer. If they can sit and hold on some of these projects, they may just sit and hold, and then you're going to see stuff like this deteriorating homes, electric boxes sitting out. Hey, there's still power to the electric box. I mean, by the way, I don't want you coming to these neighborhoods. Let me tell you this, please do not come to these neighborhoods. This is not safe. Don't come in here. I'm going to talk to you about the developer and some of the reviews they've had recently. Don't come here, please don't. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't really want to bring ill will to this developer because things happen. Look, yes, I'm a real estate agent, and no, I'm not trying to protect this developer. I just don't want you to get hurt, that's all. What's wild about this is realistically, I would imagine a lot of these homes are gonna have to get torn down. Just looking in here, you can tell there's water damage to the OSB board. You know, the slabs are probably still gonna be in good shape, but a lot of this are probably gonna have to tear down. So if you think about all the money that they structured into this, and now that they may have to come back, it's kind of crazy. You know, my last week's video, we talked about Storybuilt, what was happening with Storybuilt. So Storybuilt is having to go through some reorganizing as well. So kind of what they were doing is they were pre-pushing out projects, right? They were pre-funding projects that they actually didn't have the funds for, and they were using some, you know, not above board ways to move funds around. And so investors started suing them, and when investors started suing them, they actually had to get reorganized. And there's another project we talked about last week. The Bruno project was an apartment complex. That apartment complex is now on hold. In fact, it may not even be built. And the project we showed you last week on South First, they're trying to get that reorganized as well. So they're gonna have to sell off a lot of those lots. Now, what we'll probably see is foreclosures coming up on some of these. In fact, I'll link an article right here. A developer that was building in New Braunfels actually ran into this issue and they filed for foreclosure preemptively. So is this going to be a larger movement going forward in the Austin area? That's the big question. Are we going to see more half-built developments like this? I think what you're going to see is a lot of these smaller mom and pop shops that aren't the D.R. Hortons of the world, that aren't the Lennars of the world. Because the thing about it, Lennar and all these bigger companies can afford to sit on some of these homes longer. They get a lot of liquidity, where small-time developers like this, if prices drop 21%, there's your entire margin. So I would be curious to see what happens. Drop a comment. I mean, what do you think so far about all of this? Is this just beyond crazy to you, or is this what you expected? Do you think that the market's absolutely crazy gonna crash? You tell me. Let me get to some of the comments. So here's some of the reviews from this builder. Now, this neighborhood is being built by the homes division of this larger builder. I looked up some of the information on this larger builder, and it looks like some of their other projects are stalled as well. But here's some of the reviews. Beware of the shady developer that has multiple lawsuits and liens against them, that has a current development called, can't say it, this is sitting in shambles. They're talking about this neighborhood right here. They have scammed people into signing contracts and are still falsely advertising move-in ready. In fact, when I looked online, yes, they did have advertisements still up. The guy I talked to said they were in the process of redoing a lot of the websites and stuff, so that's maybe why they're still up. Move-in readies, they have no plans to be built. When I talked to the guy, he said they did have plans to continue the project. So, you know, not only that, but employees on the company engage in conflict of interest by positively reviewing all of their own developments. They are still trying to sell as if they were a consumer. Okay, I didn't know anything about that, but interesting. Here's another one. If I could give these scammers negative stars, I would. Do not purchase a home from this developer. Also, can't say the name. This developer will openly lie about the developments, then take your money and change the plans on what they promised. Not to mention it will take 10 times longer to build as they say it will, because no subcontractors will work with them because he owes everyone money. Ooh, interesting. All right, here's the one I was looking for. Don't even think about buying a home from this developer company. My daughter was also so excited to build her first home this past January. She thought she found a great location in this development called this development. There were several homes in different stages of completion, and she liked one of the floor plans. So she decided to put her money down and start the building process. The house was supposed to be done in October, if not least by the end of the year. Fast forward to today, December 6th, 2024. Again, I said this was 5 months old. And the slab for my daughter's house hasn't been poured. The homes that were in different stages of completion aren't even completed. Buying your first home should be an exciting experience, full of anticipation, but this builder has been a nightmare. So these are some of the reviews that you're getting on this developer. Now, we've done different videos talking about reviews. I think it's very important to, number one, read reviews for all the builders you're looking at. Take some of them with a grain of salt, but at the same time, you know, read the underlying theme that's going on. If you're looking at homes built during 2021, 2022, 2023, I don't necessarily expect you to get the most shining reviews from all the home buyers, because it was a really, really rough time. I would look more at the recent reviews, because you're getting homes built a little bit faster, a little bit better quality than you were during that time. The other thing I highly recommend is getting with a good realtor, okay? I'm not saying you have to use me or you have to use a realtor. What I'm saying is some of the things that can be sniffed out or experience that you're gonna get with using an agent is why we do what we do. And our number one job is to protect you and your assets, especially on my team. Our number one job is to protect you, your assets, then help you buy or sell a home. So think about that. Let's change locations. So you tell me, are we gonna see more developers in this situation? Are we going to see a crazy crash in the Austin market? Overall, it's interesting to see developments like this. This isn't the first time that we've seen developments in the Austin area go bust. I mean, if you think about it, we have all these developers right now that are trying to buy multifamily and build multifamily, and now we're seeing a slowdown in multifamily as well. In fact, some of these projects are slowing down. Now our developer is going to continue to slow down projects because they're trying to refi loans, consolidate. You tell me in the comment section, but that is what I am seeing. I hope this sheds some light on maybe the video that you saw with those people who kind of gave an idea of what's happening in the Austin area. Overall, if you look at my last video, home prices have gone up month over month. Prices have gone up year over year. So you tell me in the comment section what's on store or on track for the Austin area. See you in the next video. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like videos like this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I saved that for the end. Oh, and if you're buying in the Austin area, you know where to call.